channel. So today I am finally sitting down and making my video about my miscarriage. So big trigger warning here. That's what I'm going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about, you know, bodily fluids, blood, procedures, all that kind of stuff. So if that's not something that you want to hear, I would definitely not watch this video. But if it's something that you are going through or have went through and just want to hear someone else's story, you know, keep on watching, I guess. So I'm just gonna jump right into it. Today is December 3rd, 2021. I am currently pregnant with my rainbow baby. He is due on December 7th, 2021. So I'm very excited about that. But this time last year, I was going through the early stages of my miscarriage. So excuse me if I look down. When everything was happening, I actually took notes of each day what was going on, just so I had kind of a timeline of how things happened for myself, basically. So I originally had found out that I was pregnant on the day after my friend's wedding. I think was oh my gosh, like October 18th is when I found out, I think, or 19th, one of the two. I found out on like a Sunday or something like that. Found out I was pregnant. I was very like, whew. It was our first time trying, and I got pregnant right away. So it was crazy to me that happened. And when I was waiting for my appointment, my first appointment, you know, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that it was a possibility. I had my first appointment and they did an internal exam and they couldn't see anything. It was just an empty sac. No fetal pole, nothing. So they're like, okay. It might be a possible miscarriage, or it might just be too early. But she was very informative on the miscarriage part. So that kind of led me to believe that's what was happening before anything was like fully confirmed. So the next week we went and got another ultrasound at a different imaging place, and the woman that was there kind of, I don't want to say led me on, but kind of led me on. Not to her fault. I mean, she, you know, I guess she was just doing her job, but she let me know that everything looked the way it was supposed to look for how many weeks I was supposed to be, which didn't make sense because I think at that time I was supposed to be like 10 weeks. So obviously you would have seen a fetal pole, you would have heard a heartbeat, you would have seen, you know, the little baby embryo in there. But that wasn't the case. So that was really hard to hear and like process after the fact. So it was just, I don't know. But I had gotten it in my head that it was a miscarriage. At that point I knew. Sorry. At that point I knew what was going to happen. So I did not think I was gonna cry. Anyway, so December 1st, I had written down that I had some light spotting, and light cramping all day. So light spotting when I went to go to the bathroom, and light cramping all day as well. So, I do remember calling my OB about that, the nurse's line, and they were like, you know, if it's not heavy like a period, or not filling up like a pad or anything, then it's, you know, don't worry about it. But after everything that I had already went through with the ultrasounds and stuff, I kind of knew, like, you know, what was going on. The next day was the same as the day before. I had spotting all day and cramps, but I was having some sharper cramps. They were definitely hurting a lot more. Not extreme, but I was still having them. December 3rd, so a year ago from today, I was having the same thing, but I wasn't having any cramps anymore. So that was kind of weird. They weren't super consistent for some reason. But I guess, you know, it's different for everybody, or how things happen. December 4th, I was still spotting. And I didn't write down that I had any cramps, but I know that I did. So coming up on the day of the 7th is when everything got really, really intense. So that night, like the 6th into the 7th, I remember waking up in the middle of the night, with insanely intense cramping. I guess what you would assume is like a contraction. That's what I'm, you know, I've had some contractions in this pregnancy, but like birthing contractions almost, like it was that painful. So I was having that, and I got up, I went to the bathroom, and I just felt it. I had to go pee, and I just felt it. Very large clot fall out. And I get up and I look, and there was a very large clot in the toilet. And I knew right then and there that that was the beginning stages, if not all of it, type of thing. So of course I'm sitting there bawling my eyes out. I yell for my husband, who's just, you know, right in the bed. The bathroom is right back there. And I let him know what happened. He takes a look, he sees what it is. You know, there's nothing he can do for me, unfortunately. So he just sat there with me for a minute, while I kind of processed as much as I could in that moment. And then I went ahead and just flushed the toilet, washed my hands, got back in bed, just kind of sobbed the rest of the night until I fell asleep. The next day I was off of work for a few days because of everything happening. And I thought it was over, but it wasn't. The day of the 7th, officially, all day long, I was having, I say they were contractions because that's exactly what they felt like, because it was the most excruciating pain I have ever been in my entire life. The cramping was just so intense and so sharp, and just like, I don't wish that pain upon anybody. It was bad. It was really, really bad. And I just kept going to the bathroom. I was going through pad after pad. It's just all this blood. So much blood, and clotting, still coming out. And I finally I got up and I told my husband, I was like, we have to go to the hospital. Like, I'm anemic. I don't know what's normal. For this situation, I don't know how much is normal. I don't know what is normal. I was like, we need to go now. So that was in like the afternoon, like late afternoon. So we got up and we went to triage. We checked in. Lady's asking me all these questions, and I'm just standing there like in so much excruciating pain. I can feel myself literally just like bleeding through everything that I'm wearing. I go into the bathroom after we're checked in, and I'm gonna be blatantly honest with you, it looked like a murder scene. There was so much blood. I didn't even know what to do. Like, I didn't have a change of clothes. I didn't have anything with me. I'm just sitting there sobbing. I was probably in the bathroom for like probably like 30 to 45 minutes. I ended up having to call my husband to come in there and help me. I was like, just sobbing him. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, there's just so much. I can't clean it up. Like, I bled through my pants. I have nothing. I just didn't know what to do. So luckily I was wearing black pants. Well, that was a plus. But I still felt very like, it was embarrassing almost, that I felt like that. So he went and got me one of these giant like things, like pad things to sit on while we're sitting in the waiting room. They finally take us back after what felt like a freaking eternity. Meanwhile, I thought we would get back sooner, given the circumstances, but they didn't bring us back as quickly as I thought they would. So that was interesting. But we get back there, they kind of assess everything. Long story short, they let us know you're having a miscarriage. You could do one of, two things. We could do this procedure, put you under. Don't think we need to do that, but we can if that's what you want. Or there was another procedure called an MBA, which was kind of like a manual vacuum thing. I didn't have to be put to sleep or anything. And then there was pills that I could take and I could go home. I opted to do the MBA procedure because I wasn't comfortable with, I didn't want to be put under for one. I didn't feel like that was necessary. And I also did not want to go home and take any pills because I didn't know, again, with my anemia, like how that was going to be. And I just felt more comfortable being in a medical environment if anything were to happen. So we sit there and wait a little bit. The doctor comes back in. Mind you, she was probably the nicest person ever. Like, literally like a godsend, because she just kept telling me over and over and over again how, it wasn't my fault. I didn't do anything. My body didn't do anything wrong. It just, things happen. And I knew, I know how it goes. But having her say that to me was really, like, I really appreciated. So that was just really nice. So she went ahead and brought, it was just her and I guess like a nurse. She had I guess like a nurse student or something with her. He was there. I was fine with a male being in the room. He was very supportive as well. He was young. And I could tell it was very overwhelming for him just by the way he was acting. But he was very supportive as well, which was really nice. Of course, my husband was in there with me too. So we went ahead and did the procedure. And mind you, I had not had any type of like local anesthetic, no ibuprofen, no Tylenol. Literally, I didn't have anything. I barely had an IV in me for fluid. because they couldn't find a vein, because I was so dehydrated, because I was just not thinking about drinking water all day, because I was in the bathroom all day long dealing with everything. So I didn't have any pain medication, and I'm having these really, really bad like cramp contractions, and they're doing this procedure, and basically they're like scraping everything out, and it is so incredibly painful. I am in tears beyond belief. You know, she's talking me through it. She's letting me know she's almost done, that I'm so strong, like that I'm doing this, like I have such a high pain tolerance, like most people can't even get past like a little bit, blah blah blah, which was very encouraging. But at the same time, I was just trying to like focus. I'm sitting there holding my husband's hand, he's playing some music for me, just trying to get through everything. So she makes one final not one final, but one final swipe before I couldn't take it anymore. And then I almost like pass out, because she's like basically scraping my cervix. And I, again, was very dehydrated, hadn't had any food, anything to drink all day. So that was pretty intense. We went ahead and stopped after that. She really only needed to do it like maybe 1 or 2 more times, but I just couldn't. I was so sick. I was so nauseous. I thought I was gonna pass out. I turned sheet white. And then finally I got some water and some crackers, and we went ahead and cleaned everything up. And she let me know, she was talking to me again, and she gave me the pills anyway, just to go home and kind of like finish it off if there was anything left, which there was. So the 10th, according to my notes here, I went back to the hospital, because I was still bleeding, and the last bit of it kind of came out. So after that, it was just kind of, that was it. That was the final bit there. I don't know how else to say that. After that, it was just they just kind of let me know that to expect still some blood to come out, some old blood. Eventually it'll get lighter and lighter, which it did. So a couple days later, wiping, it was just like old blood. It was just like brownish almost. And I didn't really need to wear anything, and I was good to go. But after that, it was time to deal with the emotional, mental aspect of the loss. And that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. Sometimes I still think I'm dealing with it, which is hard, because I'm trying to be so happy for this pregnancy and this little boy who's going to be here in just a few short days. But grieving that life, mourning that life, doesn't take away how excited I am for this one. And I just kind of want anyone that's pregnant, right after a miscarriage, to know that you can still be sad about the life you lost, regardless of how far along you were, whether it was 10 weeks or 23 weeks, whatever it may be. You went through something and you lost something, you lost a part of you, and it's okay to acknowledge that, and it's okay to sit with that and grieve and mourn and just let that consume you for a little while. Like, that's okay. And not to let anyone make you feel like it didn't mean anything. And it's so hard, because I got so many like comments of, so sorry, what's meant to happen will happen, or things like that, kind of like along that line, like, you know, it was just meant to be, or, you know, it wasn't the right timing, or, you know, take some time for yourself and then you can try again type of thing. And although those comments seem like they're super, super nice, they suck. If I'm going to be blatantly honest here. No reason to make comments like that, because it's not it. More or less. I know that it happened for a reason, but I don't need someone else to tell me that. And I know that it was not my fault, and I know that it was not my body's fault. But I have to learn to accept it for myself, and I don't need anyone else kind of telling me that, if that makes sense. So that's just kind of, I don't know, I just want to throw that in there because I got a lot of those comments. And wind, shut my door. Again, it's really hard to go through, and though I went through that with my husband, I felt completely alone. I felt so alone every single day for a long time, because I know he lost something too, but it's so different, because at the time I was still blaming myself, you know, and I was asking myself, you know, why me? Why my body? Why did this happen? You know, and at the time everyone was getting pregnant, and I was just sitting there with my loss. It was just really, really hard to deal with. No one understood what I was going through. Nobody I knew had gone through that. Couldn't find any videos on YouTube or anything to even like remotely feel like I wasn't alone. It was just really, really hard. And I sat up so many nights just crying. And again, just wondering why. Why me? It took me a while to process everything. Like I said before, part of me still feels like I'm processing it to a degree. But it's not something I want to hide. I'm very, very open about it. I will gladly tell anybody my story. I will let anyone know, you know, if you're going through this and you need something or someone to talk to, or you need someone to listen to you, that I'm there 110%. Because sometimes that's all you need. Don't need any advice. Don't need you to say you're sorry. I just need you to sit and listen to me. I get that. 100% get that. But I don't know, I didn't intend to take this long to make this video. But I felt the timing was right now. And if I could help maybe just one person not feel so alone, then, you know, that makes me feel better, you know, about everything. So yeah, that's my story. And I'm very, very excited to welcome this new baby into the world and give him all the love that he deserves. Enough for him and the little embryo that we lost. So, yeah. Thanks for watching.